Previously on the Tales of Hybris. Blitz off more. Attack on a stadium. A holy savior. And just a demonic minion. And a new yet familiar companion.
Hello everybody and welcome. We are the Hybris Collective, a video game music composer collective, and this is the Tales of Hybris. Here, we want to unravel the mysteries of video game music as it elevates the drama and emotion of storytelling from the perspective of a professional musician
and a music producer. So, in today's episode, we walk. And then we sleep. But while we run along Mihan High Road, we are presented with insights into Spira's past via a wise old history buff, as well as getting a better understanding of the struggles of the different factions of this world. At the midpoint of the road, we stop at an albeit run travel agency, where we might hurt Walker's feelings.
Like what we do here, head on over to Patreon for some cool goodies, or help us please YouTube Yevon by leaving some thoughts and comments.
So, without further ado, let's sleepwalk.
Okay. All right, so on to the probably most likely most infamous scene of Final Fantasy X.
At least the most memed one, I'd say.
Definitely the most memed one.
Definitely.
So, yeah. Last thing we had was Aurum asking what the next direction is, and let's watch the scene.
No.
What's our itinerary?
Itinerary.
Where are we headed?
Hey, come with me.
I think I've never heard that outside of this scene.
I don't think I have either.
Hey, watch.
This is such a cute scene. She learned it really fast.
True. She picked that up.
Hey, you got pretty good.
I actually remember you trying to teach me that. I still can't do it.
You sound
Yeah,
sad.
I could do it as a kid and I just unlearned it.
Maybe.
I can't do it anymore.
Want to scream?
I couldn't even do it as a kid.
I really don't think that's gonna help this time.
Anyways, sad Tidus. Yeah, sad teenager.
So mopey.
You know what?
Yeah. And Eunice theme again.
It's embarrassing to say this myself,
Which has
but summoners and their guardians are kind of like Spira's ray of light.
it has such a different
A lot
impact
of
in this
people
scene
in
to me.
Spira depend on us.
True.
I learned to practice smiling when I'm feeling sad, you know.
Because it's so much more melancholic with this scene. I
Yeah.
love that.
I know it's hard.
Yeah, I had the same feeling.
Yeah. I understand.
And more of like the facade that she has to put up as a summoner.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's see what you can do.
Huh?
Come on.
And suddenly all cheerful again. Back to the collective summoner. Collected? Summoner, nature, collective.
It's coming.
This is weird.
And already
Next,
quite
try
a good
laughing
laugh.
out loud.
Just to preface the
What?
next scene.
Come on,
Voice acting.
show me.
On to the meme. Bad voice acting. I think this is great voice acting, but more on that in a bit.
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
Nope. And Eunice's real laugh behind that already. and instantly followed by an actual real good voice acted laugh.
Too funny.
It was your idea.
Thank you.
Also really
I
strong.
want my journey to be full of laughter.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
If we should get separated, just whistle.
That one.
I'll come running.
She turns it around.
I promise.
I love that. This is such great writing.
Well, let's go. What are you looking at?
We were just worried you guys might have gone crazy.
Sorry. Well then, all right. Now, we will go to the temple at Jose.
All right, so
And
so much for this thing.
Guardians, don't forget to smile.
After this, we are on to the next part of the game, the next theme. But first, let's talk about the scene a bit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as we talked about before, this is the most memed scene of Final Fantasy X. And even if you don't know anything about the game, you've probably seen the memes. They've been everywhere with exactly this. And there are so many people arguing that this is bad voice acting. I just don't understand how. Even as a kid, I got that this was over the top and played. Because as I mentioned in between, first of all, you hear them laughing a little bit before the scene. Then the actual bad voice acting laughing. And then even during that, Yuna laughs like a bit more real in the background. And then right after the laughing scene that's bad, they actually laugh properly again.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely right.
I really don't understand how James Arnold Taylor had to clarify that this was properly acted bad.
Yeah, you mean on purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
I really don't understand how anybody can miss that. I mean, if you've seen just this scene out of context, okay, fair point. If you only see the laughing,
I mean, yeah, that's my best guess of like how it came to be that way. Because I guess a lot of people that never played the game stumble upon the scene, and if you really just start with the fake laughter and end before anything else happens, and then it's just like, yeah, what the you just think that dub went wrong or something like that.
true.
But I mean, I 100% agree with you that within the context of the game, within the context of the scene, that works. That absolutely works.
I really like it.
I guess a part of me always wondered, but I just don't know enough about it. If and this might be a stretch, as far as I got it in Japanese culture, it's not as common or even less common than in our culture to express feelings really, in when you're in public,
Yeah.
with strangers and all that. It's the impression I got was that the Japanese in general are very polite, reserved.
I think so.
It's you're pretty much distant to people you don't really know very well.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me always wondered if in that context that scene has additional layers somewhat surrounding the expressing feelings in public, but I do not know enough to say whether this is necessarily true or not.
The only thing I've kind of heard about that is that more the public showing of affection is very, very rare.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still something that doesn't really show up, but this isn't really showing affection much. This is more like a friendship kind of thing at that point. So I don't know, maybe. Would make sense, but I'm not educated enough on that to say anything more than maybe.
Yeah. I only can make assumptions as well, but I definitely don't want to make any definitive statement about that. It's really lacking knowledge to do that. But to bring it back, I really think the scene works in context. It makes sense. I think it's actually pretty nice.
I
in a way.
really like it. Really like it.
Just
The memes kind of destroyed it.
yeah,
But not really.
Yeah, I don't think so. Also, I didn't get as much of the meaning of that scene back then. I
pretty much discovered it after the fact. So I don't know how much of putting it out as a meme was somewhat done in an ironic way of like people putting it out there with like the weird, because memes usually take on weird meta layers at some point when they like start to circle back in on themselves and I don't know what.
Yeah.
So I said I didn't follow it back then, so I don't know how the thing was, how it happened exactly.
It would be so great if this is so many layers of irony. That would actually be really funny.
Something like that, but I don't know. But I've seen it happen with like, there's definitely layers. I mean, I'm not the most well-versed in memes, I'd say, but I know some, but like it's definitely, this gets to, I've seen memes where I'm just like, this makes, like I've seen that meme and it's been transformed in some way and it doesn't make no sense to me.
Best example for this to me would be the Giga Chat meme. Because that's like the really Squidward kind of sculptured Giga Chat person with like, bring me the horizon, can you feel my heart in the background? It's like, all right, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean more like, I don't know, sometimes memes tend to, when they're when they're around long enough, they tend to develop weird layers because people are just reusing them, and then someone is like putting an already 3 times recontextualized meme into a 4th context, and you basically need to know the whole development of that meme, of that meme lore basically to like get what the hell this is supposed to mean at the end, because there's somewhere I'm just I have no context whatsoever. I've seen that meme, but with those words above it, some weird change to it, I guess that's a whole new joke, but I'm not clued in. Not at all. So that kind of weird. So I don't know how far that went with that meme back then, but it's something I could see happening, that like if after some point like someone put it out, people start making fun of it, and then at some point like Final Fantasy X fans actually start putting it out on purpose to like, I don't know, either troll people or on some weird irony level of like, this is the worst voice acting, while they actually think it's the best voice acting. I don't know, this kind of weird stuff that happens on the internet and forums and all that. So yeah, it's been memed a lot, but I think it's good. I think it works.
And as I said before, I really, really love what Yuna's theme brings to this scene. Because last time we heard Yuna's theme, it was more, not really cheerful, but more like, I'd say, leaving on a journey kind of feeling. Yeah. As well as like, we said last time, we said it works good as a goodbye theme as well. And this is like, I'd say, a 3rd layer, where it's this really melancholic connection to a scene that's actually supposed to be quite fun and uplifting. So it's really interesting how many layers Yuna's theme can portray, with the theme alone portraying so many different sides of Yuna as well. Yeah. So I really think this is one of the coolest compositions in this game when it comes to the storytelling aspect of it. Yeah. I really, really like how many layers of Yuna's character can be portrayed in the same theme. With different scenes.
Definitely. Yeah, and it works very well here for me because the whole laughing scene basically is also like showing the layers of Yuna to an extent, because like the whole laughing thing for me just feels like an exaggeration of the concept of keeping up this facade and like being the hopeful, positive person towards basically everyone you meet. Like no matter how I feel inside, your job is to like be the ray of light, the beacon of hope for the people of Spiros. So if you have to fake laugh, just fake laugh. Just keep up the good spirits. That's all that counts. And so like this kind of the themes, those different layers as the scene as well portrays or like underlines an already existing layer of Yuna.
Yep. Totally like that. All right, anything else? I think that's it with this. Scripting was really funny again. So Yuna proudly shows Tidus how she mastered the whistling thing already. Apparently, she must have been a bit bored beating up the Eldad. Ha! That's so funny. All right, it's time to move on. So, let's move on to the next area in the game. Yes. Which is the Mihan Hybrid. So this is going to be quite a bit of a story lore dump kind of area. So there's gonna be quite a bit of story dump that I'm gonna put onto you guys. So I'd say let's start with like a little bit of a story first, then go for the then go for the theme, talk about that, and then some more story, and then we're on to the next one. Anyways,
Sounds good.
so as we said last time, this episode is going to be one of the weirdest earworms to have, because me and High Road is such a weird theme. But more on that later, or it's probably gonna play in the background already. Let's see what Editing Us decides. We're going to not do that on purpose now.
Just to fuck with us.
Yes. Cue the Tidus theme remix. All right. So we cruise along Mihan High Road, quite a linear road with a lot of history. We meet the character Mei Chen, or however you would pronounce his name. I think he pronounces it something like that. He's basically like the background lore dump person in the game.
Yeah, he seems like does the role of like a scholar.
Yeah.
If you meet him, he just tells you, here this happened.
In a very old man voice. He tells us about Lord Mihan, who was the founder of the Crusaders. Their ranks grew and Yemen feared an uprising, so they accused him of rebellion. Mihan walked along this very road to go face his charges and refute them, and he then won the Mace's trust, and the Crusaders become an arm of Yemen. This was also the point where they got the name of the Crusaders. Before they had a different name, which I think I have noted somewhere here, but lost at this moment. Then we get to know more about the surroundings, being ruins of an ancient city, another one that Sin has destroyed. And for some reason, Mei-chan compares humans to mud puppies, which is, I think, quite a weird phrasing. But yeah,
True.
he says like humans are mere mud puppies compared to the power of sin, something like that. That's a weird phrasing.
I guess it has to be it seems connected to like this idea of man being made out of clay that I think existed in, I think it's from the Greek.
Yep.
The Greeks had that going.
I think so, yeah.
That first men were made out of clay and then someone split this something with the Titans in that area.
Right.
I'm not the best in Greek mythology.
No, I think you're right. That's actually a good connection.
Maybe. That's the best thing I have for mud puppies. Like,
I had nothing for mud puppies except for this sounds like a big insult.
yeah, so it's also maybe just a weird translation. I don't know.
That would be my best guess, but no idea. Anyways, Yuna has a good reply to that, saying that she believes that humans are also the only ones capable of defeating sin, and which is a reply that he likes quite a bit. So he is growing already quite a bit fond of Yuna. He introduces himself as a scholar traveling the world. Then we get to meet the Chocobo Knights with Lucille, the captain, Alma, and I think Klasko is his name, the clumsy one.
Yeah,
something like that.
Think so. Yeah,
we'll have it on screen, probably, maybe.
If we said the wrong thing, we'll just correct this.
Would be the first time. Then they warn us about a fiend that wants to eat the chocobos and that we should be careful when we go rent chocobos. So apparently there's gonna be chocobo renting.
Yeah.
Yay! Which is also quite fun in most games.
True.
I think sometimes it's just basically a mount to be faster, but sometimes it's quite fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the different roles are they take in the different games. I mean, like in most of them, at least in the older ones, they're mostly mounts, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I think so
you
too.
can traverse the overmap quicker, and you don't get into random battles. I think when you're on a chocobo, I think that's like one of the main upsides of having one.
Sure.
Especially if you're running through areas that you've already grinded through a million times.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether that's true in all. They are in every Final Fantasy game, right?
I'm pretty sure they are, because they are one of the only few things that actually connects all the Final Fantasy worlds. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're even in 11 and 14. In all the others, I am like 97% sure they're in there.
Yeah, like 14 I know because I've seen screenshots of like people in their groups, because 14 is the online one, right?
Yeah, 11 too.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know which one is, but I think
so. But yeah, 14 is like the one that's being played at the moment.
Probably.
As far as I got it. And yeah, that's definitely a struggle. I was just not sure about basically 8 and 9, yeah, 9 definitely has them. I wasn't sure about 8.
I'm
but
pretty sure about 8. I mean, there's
they
a
have-
car in 8, but I think there's also chocobos.
I
mean, there's chocobo somewhere in there. There's always they're connecting the worlds of Final Fantasy together.
So
I think we
they're
can
there.
just state that they're in every game.
Most likely.
So yeah, the Chocobo Knights are guarding the Mihen High Road at the moment.
Yeah.
Tidus is pondering about like the fiend, and he's like, "Let's go get him." Arn asking, "Why?" Tidus, "That's the right thing to do." Arn starts laughing. "The right thing to do," and laughs. Jack said that a lot too, and every time he said that, it meant trouble for Braska and me. And Tidus apparently is not too happy about that comparison, because
Yeah, well,
he's not too fond of his father, as we have seen quite a few times by now.
still doesn't like him.
We meet a mother and a daughter, and a little talk about the calm again. And it's actually quite selfish to hear them basically asking Yuna if she's the one bringing the next calm. I don't want to get into detail here, but to me this felt like really selfish of them asking, "Are you gonna be the next one to bring us the calm? Yay, yay."
I get what you mean. I get where you're coming from. I guess to a certain extent, the fact that the journeys end how they end is just very much baked into the into society. So people are just like,
probably.
that's just how it is.
Probably.
Like something like, I don't know, akin to whatever. I think it was the Incas, some of the ancient cultures, or the Aztecs, whoever had the whole sacrifice thing where they sacrificed a lot of people all the time. Some are South America. Where as far as we know, as far as I know, people often were happy to be made a sacrifice because it was like an honor to be killed to try to to soothe the gods, basically. So I'm not sure how in that society in the society of Spira, how much it's just like, yeah, that's just how it is. Like someone's gonna get out there and it's like a big honor, so like yay for you.
Probably. Should we put a spoiler warning?
We didn't spot it so far.
Yeah, maybe. Let's decide that in edit. But yeah, this was quite a weird thing. To me, at least, it felt a bit weird. But yeah, maybe the whole thing is like baked into the culture. That would make sense.
Yeah, but also the game does not explore that side of things enough to that we could make a definitive statement whether it is or not. It's just like I guess from how the game presents this, I would assume that it's somewhat just an expected thing and a very normal thing, because the game doesn't really, outside of Tidus, no one really makes a fuss about it.
Yeah.
Like everyone else just like, yeah, of course, that's how it's gonna go. And
Yeah.
we're gonna be with her, and then when it's done, it's done. So yeah, but as said, the game doesn't really explore whether this is like an accepted thing or if there's like any kind of uprising within society against this. I guess it's just seen as a necessity, because what else are you gonna do?
Fair.
Sin comes, wrecks almost every place you have. So yeah, if no one's gonna do that, then that's just gonna be it forever,
Fair.
I guess. So it,
Fair.
out of necessity, it's just we have to do something. That's
Fair.
what we found.
Yeah, true. I'll let that count. Works for me. Works for me. Oh yeah, and then is another one. And good luck to your guardians as well, which I think was quite a fun reaction, because all the guys are like, like that, and Lulu just doesn't care at all. She's just standing there stoic. He doesn't walk all like, you're embarrassing, that kind of thing. I kind of like that, because I never realized that. Or I'm posing a bit as well. So I really like that as a cool little touch. Oh, and Kimari, of course, also doesn't move at all.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, not that anybody expected anything else, but yeah. Then we again got Tidus the Fool, not knowing anything about the calm, and Lulu actually explains without shaking her head this time. So already she's like, all right, he doesn't know anything. And yeah, she basically apparently accepted that we don't know anything. The calm is a period that comes when Sin is defeated and lasts until Sin reappears. Sin dies and is reborn. And Tidus now understands why Sin is there. Also, although it has been defeated by Braska 10 years ago. And he then questions if it's worth the journey, which is followed by a scene that I actually quite like. Because Yuna is like, don't say it isn't worth it, because it is.
I mean, she has to believe that.
She definitely has to believe that. True. And then we have more of this Tidus reflecting kind of thing again. Even for a little while, people can sleep in their beds without being afraid. That kind of time is worth anything. Don't say it ain't worth it. Your words today, Yuna, I remember them well. And after this really deep talk kind of thing, we got this weird transition back to the Mihan theme. To the goofy Mihan themes.
Yeah, especially with how it starts. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep. Which I think is the best place to talk about the Mihan theme now. So, let's move on to Cubase. Transition, which doesn't work with,
You'd have to get pretty close.
transition.
Like the TikTok transition thing.
I think this has been around forever on YouTube as well. This is a transition we agreed upon. So, Mihan. Where is it? There we go. So, original. I don't know why I'm asking. Want to start?
Yeah, sure thing.
All right, stage is yours.
Yeah, so yeah, we start off with like the Jew harp. The Jew's harp, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Gum, gum, which also just gives it this somewhat whimsical feeling for me, in a way. Just you have in the background always this bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, it's just
this jumpy feeling in a way.
Oh, yeah. And because we said like weird kind of earworms. There we go.
Yeah, that melody. I can go further up.
This is such a weird melody, but I really like it actually.
Yeah, then here we go again on sax.
I've heard it too much. Yeah, I've heard it too many times, but I think it's still fun.
Yeah, all that happens over the bass. Doing that all the time. That's just, yeah, continuously underground. And now we have the Opeth break.
See what you did there? Actually, yes.
It sounds so much like Opeth.
It does.
Like the acoustic breaks in especially older Opeth songs
Totally
are that.
It totally does. I love that connection. I would have never made that connection.
That really reminded me of it. Just, yeah, it's the thing that Opeth, I can talk about it a little more in detail a bit later, but they're just doing a thing that Opeth just does a lot in their songs. And we're back again. The thing.
Oh, we're up a little bit?
Nothing.
And
Right, yeah, exactly. It stays in the E in the
never
transition.
noticed that.
Yeah, I always experience? Yes, I re-experience it. I experience it anew every time I listen to it.
Beautiful wordings. Lyric writer, poet.
Yes.
I mean, you are a singer that writes lyrics, so.
It's true. So yeah, pretty much we're in the loop back here. I think that's all that happens for that song.
Yeah.
Like regarding different parts that are there.
Yeah. That's basically on repeat.
Yeah. No, that's just happening. So yeah, I don't know. Things I really like about it. I somehow like that in the beginning. Yeah, no, we're in the back in the Opeth part.
Should I go back to the beginning?
Yeah. Maybe just some. Yeah, the first thing I really liked is, I'm just gonna pause here. The guitar in the beginning just starts on this chord.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, in the background. That's what it sounds to me.
Is it the highest one?
I think that's the top one. I've been debating that myself.
It sounds lower to me, but
I think that's what I hear as the top note.
Can I try? That's what you got? There's no other choices anyways. Can only be that.
I think it might be voiced differently. I think it might be something like that.
I can try and figure it out if there is something on guitar that's easier to basically
Makes
finger.
sense. Yeah,
Let's see if I can find something there. But yeah,
But yeah, that's just happening. I also find it interesting. It just stays in the background all the time.
yeah, it doesn't change.
Yeah, just goes through.
True.
I mean, it makes sense to a degree because yeah, the bass is also staying on the D flat all the time. That's just happening. But I like what kind of, again, what happens in some Final Fantasy songs up until now. I mean, the melody itself here is already, let's call it a little weird, a little off. Because what the melody basically does is... Pause again for a bit. Sorry, I was going to jump back to the start.
It's fine.
So what the melody basically plays, like all the end notes of these little fragments, is just a D flat diminished chord, basically.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the notes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it creates this diminished, this diminished sound, D flat diminished sound, basically. Yeah, and then you have. That's the sound, basically.
Ooh.
And it also, it's I like it how it slightly clashes, quote unquote, on different levels, because on one hand you have like this sound, but the bass line always has that one prominently in there, the A flat. So you basically that gets mixed in.
This is so cool.
That
What is happening?
So you have this one. It's not like, it doesn't sound like that, of
Yeah.
course, in the song because
Yeah,
it's octaves lower.
Yeah.
And also you have this melody over the guitar in the background still going. So we sometimes land at this. But where's there? Basically,
What is going on?
this?
We're
not
basically
all,
running out of notes by
not
now.
all together, but yeah. So it's like this quarter. There's just the chord that the guitar plays is pretty much you call this quarter voicings because it's like a fourth up and another fourth between the notes, which is like it's usually I mostly know it from jazz, where people start to like it's a way to voice chords pretty much. You can almost do every chord in like that. You mainly use fourths in between the notes, and it just creates a very open sound. It's like can sometimes be hard to really put down the chord if you voice it like that, just because fourths are somewhat of an empty interval, like somewhat like the fifth even more, and the octave. But like 4, 5 octave are like the most harmonic sounds without going into too much detail. So yeah, it's just this nice mixture of like different things because you have like the very strong D flat bass. That's just even by going down to the A flat, you really like cement this in. It's like da 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 da. Okay, we're in D flat.
Yeah.
There you go. And then over that, it's just okay, but we're somewhat D flat diminished because the melody does this diminished sound, and then you still have the guitar with the
Play
that
the
in the
diminished real
background.
quick, just to remind people and me. So that's a diminished sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's full diminished sound, and that's just exactly the notes the melody hits.
Yep. The thing we had before.
All of them there. So
All right.
yeah, it's nice because I don't think the song necessarily sounds dissonant. I mean,
Nope, not
it's
at all.
definitely a lot of that is in how things are bass like within the octaves, because like, okay, the bass is down there, so having this some like theoretically the small second happening isn't really a big deal because it's not actually a small second.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, octaves apart.
Yeah.
And that always sounds very different than if you put them next together. And the guitar being far enough in the background that it's like, yeah, okay, that runs through, and it's not like the most usual voicing and sound, but it also like doesn't disturb you within the whole thing because it's the ear just gets used to it.
Sure.
This is just a steady thing that keeps going through, so it just blends into the background even more because there's no change. I don't know, also just rhythmically, I just kind of like the whole thing that's going on with the gung, 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 which is a perfect bass line, I think, for just the wandering aspect of being on a road.
Yeah.
Has a nice walking speed.
Yes.
Then it's like, yeah, you have the juice harp in the background that's going through the whole thing, except the opeth part, which breaks everything.
It does.
Which is also just fits for me because the whole area has a bit of a, it's definitely a lighthearted feel, I think, that's to the whole area because it's green, you meet people, there's some battles, but it's like they're not that hard usually. You have the whole chocobo thing at some point, I don't know what, everything that's coming up, so all of this is happy, pretty much. I kind of like that the song feels happy in general, just by the and the juice harp and all that kind of stuff, but it sounds interestingly happy, I'd say, because you're still working with this diminished sounds, these dissonances that are created. Also, like the B part, super dissonant.
The
opeth part.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we can talk about that one a little bit more too.
Yes, I'd love to.
And yeah, just this mixture. I really like this mixture of has a serious feeling just from the harmonies that are used. It's like not just use, because usually if you say, hey, I want to have like a happy-go-lucky walking around theme, okay, we're gonna go major. Let's go.
Which tonality is this? Nothing.
This is
kinda.
D. I guess it's. I mean, I definitely say it's like D flat minor as the bass line.
Mm-hmm.
But the melody just adds this diminished sound to it. But I'd definitely put the song like D flat minor.
I see.
As like the root.
Uh-huh.
Well, just because just through this, it's really like cemented here.
Oh, we got a power chord in the bass, basically, right? Oh no, we have the third.
Not really.
We have the third, right?
We don't have the third. We have that's like the seventh we go to.
Oh, no, I think I played it wrong. Maybe did I? Oh yeah. Okay, never mind.
So like we go to the 7th to the 5th, but yeah, I guess you wouldn't call it a power chord there because it's not played at the same time.
No, never mind.
But yeah, it does not play the 3rd, although bass movements often don't play the 3rd because it leaves some more wiggle room sometimes up there, especially if someone's improvising.
Yeah. But
yeah, so I really just like this, how things are flowing together in the A part. I also like the little percussion thing that's going on in the background that's also panned left and right with the tuck, 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 tuck.
Oh.
Which I find just funny because it so reminds me of a ticking clock.
Yes,
and I'm not
probably
sure.
Was.
Maybe, but I'm not sure why it's in there. Like I can't make the thematic connection why that theme would have a ticking clock. But it sounds good, so whatever. Not everything needs to have like a story reason or something to be there.
And I think this could actually have been a clock sample. Sounds like it.
So I mean, I think it sounds like those wood blocks.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be one of those.
Yeah, could be a sample one of these as well. True.
But let's tuk, 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 just evokes the feeling of a clock, at least for me, pretty strongly.
Especially since the rest of it doesn't really say hurry up at all.
Yeah.
And since we're here at that part, real quick, one thing that I think All right, let's go for that later. Go on with yours.
I mean, yeah, can you pause for a moment here?
Of course, if the keyboard lets me. Yes.
There we go. Because I don't know, I just like what's going on in that part. Because basically, that took some time to like transcribe, or not transcribe, but to somewhat figure out. Because it always has like a similar sounding motif in the top. Like it starts with this something like that, always on top. And then mainly the bass notes change. So we basically start with that sound. It's gonna sound so weird at some points. We go this, then we go back to... No, this was the first one. So this is the first sound of the first chord. Then we go to this weird sound. Actually, can you just start playing it and might be able to play them along?
I think I
Hear this.
Come on. Do something.
Never.
Hello. It's not there. Okay, keyboard works.
We have this to the F sharp, to the C, to the B, B flat. And we
Yo.
stop there. That's like, so things we're going through, I don't think I'll manage to exactly play them along, just because I have to reach over so far. But like basically the sounds we're going through, I just want to play them real quick because I just love them. So we start with this sound, go to this sound, then we go to this sound.
What? I love... What chord is this? Is that a chord that you can kind of name? I really like...
could
I love the
call-
sound of this chord.
I guess you would call that one a... If I'd have to give the name, it would be like a D sus2, because we have the E in there. And no third, because there's no F or no F sharp.
Yeah.
Then we have a sixth, like major sixth, so like it's the Dorian sound. I don't know if you necessarily call it Dorian in that regard, but like we have the grade 6 usually,
Yeah.
the major 6 with the Dorian sound, and the 7. So like you basically, I guess you would call it a D sus2 713, something like that. Because it's, yeah, that would describe, because you have D as a root note, the sus2, the 7, so you know it's like a D7 chord,
Yeah.
and then that's your 13.
This is such a cool sound. I have to steal that. I have to take that for something.
So we go there, yeah, we came from that, then we go to there, then we go, that's that, then we're, this got reformatted. That's why I don't know how things are. Yeah, then we go to the B. Now it's getting like really nice.
Spicy.
That would be that one. I've thought about how I would call that one. That's really weird to name. So I guess it would be a G, because we have like a G major. Because that's G, that's the B. That would be the 13 again. And that would be the sharp 9 in that context. So we like, why that sounds so weird
Oh yeah.
is because that's like the minor and major third next to each other. Because we have, like you put in the same octave, that's your minor third, that's a major third. So if we put them all together, we get this sound. Usually
Yay.
those kind of extensions, like on the more basic level of at least jazz improvisation like that, usually these kind of weird extensions are mostly used when you're on a 7/5 or like a 5 chord, which means like 5th step, like in C, if we're on the G, like a G7,
Yeah.
which will resolve back to this. Then especially on the like major 7 chords, not major 7 because that will be that one, the minor 7 chords, or dominant chords. In that case, you can go wild with the extensions. That's like sound-wise, you can put in almost everything.
So basically, the more dissonance you have on this chord, the more pull you have back to the one.
That's the idea. Yeah, especially if you like then go to a one that also has some chord extensions, then you can try to use your upper, or not upper structure, but your other extensions to the chord to create more of these either notes that stay there or have that half step resolution up or down. So yeah, it basically creates more tension. Because, I don't know, that would be like your basic chord. That would be it with the sharp 9.
Which is what we had in this chord?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's again the 3rd. So that would be basically if you played it as a chord. That
This
sound,
is
I guess.
What?
And then you could do crazy things like also do the like, I don't know, that one too. Sharp 11, all that kind of stuff. You can do a lot in these. So yeah, but basically here it creates this sound. Now I need my notes again.
Jazz. Play all the notes.
Pretty much. So we stay on that because what the whole part usually does, it's like this establishes a pattern in the, I guess it would be like the upper strings on the guitar, like on the piano would be what you play as the right hand, I guess. And then switches usually like starts on a note, then switches like upper there stays the same, and the bass note changes.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing here. We start with this sound, then we go to this sound. So that would be like an F sharp because we have here a major 3rd. That would be like I don't know how I would call that one actually.
Let's just put something on screen.
Some F sharp major with the 11 because we have the 4th here in as well, and the
Sure.
3rd and the minor 7. Yeah, that was in there. But I'm
Okay.
actually I can't like promise. There might be better ways to describe this chord. There are different ways to describe chords.
Yeah.
But I guess if you want to describe it as one chord symbol, that's how I would put it.
Cool.
And
Sure.
Then after that, we go to that sound, which is also cool.
This is a Chrono Trigger vibe to me, for some
Yeah,
reason.
I can see that. I hear it. I can't like pinpoint how much is there.
Some time travel thingy.
Yeah, that would be like a C major 7 because like a 3rd again.
Yeah.
That's our major 7.
Yeah.
Then we have our 13, I guess you would call it, the 6th also in there. So it doesn't sound as dissonant as the other ones before that. We go from that to then that one. Sorry, I have to really quickly
Go for it. I need to stretch. Anyways. I don't know how to stretch this area properly. Nope, that's not it. I know. I'll just die. That's what you get for working out.
All right, that's where. No, I got it again. Yeah. Okay. That's how it goes. So we have that sound up there. We start just a little bit further back on the F. Then we go down to the C, which we just discussed. And then we go to the B in the bass note. And up there it changes to that, the G, D, E. Like the E pretty much almost stays the top note.
Okay.
Which also makes sense for the guitar, just having the open string up there. So I guess I would describe that one as a G6 with the B in the bass.
Like a G6.
because that's what you got there. You have like a G, D, you have the B in the bass, then just a 6 to it. So I guess that's the sound it has to me the most.
Okay.
Then we go down to the B flat, down there. And that switches to that sound, which is pretty cool. Which gives this impression, to me at least, it sounds like up there it sounds like you'd play an A7. Like these are the notes for the A7, you put an 8 on there with that. But with adding the B flat down there, it changes to pretty much a diminished sound again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then the first time the top note changes is for the last two parts, when the bass note goes down the D8. Up there we have this cool...
More chrono trigger.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it.
Yeah. I think like the time theme or something?
Possible. Yeah, I really can't remember well enough.
It hasn't been that long for me, so that's
true.
why I kind of remember it. Major chrono trigger vibe.
So that would be like a A minor 7/13, pretty much. Like the minor third or 7. A 9, sorry, not 13, of course. Like A minor 7, 9. Would that be minor 7, minor chord, 7, and the 9. So that's that sound, which also makes sense why it sounds like easier digestible, because the minor chord with the 9 often is used in, I don't know, pop songs and stuff like that as well. The 9's just a very smooth, easy to listen to extension for a chord that just doesn't really rub a lot of people the wrong way. It's easy to get.
I see.
Then it switches from this, that, which I just love. And that's what it ends on.
Yeah, I just want to say, wow.
So this is like, yeah, then I guess that would be A minor. Yeah, that'd be like the A minor 6/9, basically, because now I have the 6th instead of the 7.
Nice.
And then we go back to the theme. And I don't know, I just love how that just comes in there. I don't know, it works. It never...
Oh yeah, totally does.
Did not fit for me, but it's interesting. At least it is very creative. Also, for some reason I had major Zelda vibes. Ocarina of Time, the home of the Zoras.
Been too long.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I don't know how similar it sounds. It's been also quite a while for me. I guess just the more open sounding acoustic guitar thing happens in the Zora realm. I think that's why it reminded me of it. But the main thing was definitely Opeth, because that's something Opeth just does a lot in their acoustic parts. There's this somewhat weird upper structure that happens that's repeating or somewhat repeating, only slightly moving, and just moving up or down the bass notes under it, so it just sounds nice, it sounds less nice, and then it resolves something, and again, and it's just there's always some tension but some resolution in there, but it has this like always a forward momentum, because it never really gets to rest somewhere, especially in that part.
Oh yeah,
I feel like this is just how the whole bass line moves and everything like that, and especially with ending on this.
I mean, it even sounded kind of weird on guitar, kind of strong on guitar, but they like arpeggiated a bit. So it doesn't sound as strong, but play like this on a piano makes it even stronger.
Yeah, definitely. This is like really, that's dissonant.
Define dissonance.
Something like that. So,
nice.
Yeah, I really like that part as well.
Oh, I did too.
I like Mian Harrod, I think, all in all.
Interesting. It's been so annoying because I've been listening to it so many times, because Mian Hybrid is quite long.
True.
But
so, yeah, that's for my part.
All right, so first of all, the first thing when I was rewatching this, I want to check if I still feel that way. But this is one of the pieces, when you first hear it, it's hard to say, hey, try to hear it the first time again. But this when I re-listened to it again, seemed like one of those tracks where you're not sure where the downbeat actually is in the beginning. I think there's percussion that kind of gives it away, but before the second thing comes in, let me check that again.
Now, I mean, for me at least, the Juice harp pretty much gives it away.
Yeah, is it in a remake too? Let me check that real quick. Please? Keyboard? Work? Yes? No? Maybe? Please? I mean, at least in melt. Okay, then let's... Okay, it's less apparent. Thanks, keyboard. Okay. Because it also, when you come into the scene, it kind of fades in.
True. Yeah, then it's less apparent.
So
of course, yeah, because the guitar is always on the offbeat.
If you imagine it going like this, something like that. Because that's how it starts in the game.
Yeah, I think at that point you get it. For me, at least, when when the saxophones come in, even if you don't listen to the Juice harp in the background, that's when it's like, okay, we're on offbeat with the guitar. But yeah, of course, if you start on the offbeat and only the guitar's there, then it's hard to tell whether it's meant to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's something I, in general, always enjoy when you don't know where the downbeat is, because sometimes even metal songs, rock songs, whatever, pop songs probably as well, start off with something that's on an offbeat, but because it's the first thing you hear and the only thing you hear right there, you just don't know where the one actually is. And then it comes in at, look like, okay, what just happened? It's always like something that catches you off guard. Which I kind of re-listening to it had a little bit of the feeling, especially since it fades in when you come into the scene.
Yeah,
so
that definitely.
Really like that.
I know, yeah, and as we said, also really definitely easier to hear it that way, or I guess not hear it that way in the remake, because the Juice harp's way more in the background.
Yeah.
It's like the original is pretty prominent.
It is. That's one of the differences already there. And I do think, talking about that thing, I mean, I just call it Mark Trommer, since I didn't know any English word for that, but let's stick with Juice harp, sure.
At least that's what I looked up.
I trust you on that. I do like it more in the original.
Yeah,
it has this bounce.
That, I also definitely have to say I like the guitar way more in the original. I don't like the extremely short thing they do in the remake. Because it just doesn't let it ring. Yep, stop.
Huh. But I like that it doesn't ring.
Okay, I guess that's just a matter of taste.
That's probably like more of the ska kind of vibe.
I mean, I guess with how the bass also sounds like... That sounds so different.
Yes, it does.
Like, what's that bass played on? What is
it?
That?
It might be the low strings of guitar.
Maybe just a little bit muted, right?
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah, then could you play it on just one guitar? Because we do like with the thumb. Boom, boom.
I think it would be possible. It would be quite hard to mute the low part while actually having enough dexterity to play the high strings.
True. Yeah, that would be some weird palm mute.
You usually don't use the pinky when you play guitar. You usually just use these three fingers and the thumb for the bass. And you could kind of do it, but you have to do something like...
Yeah, right.
I mean, I can try and show it. Never mind, the acoustic guitars are in another room.
All right.
I'll show it later. But yeah, I really like the sound of the real-ish guitar. I think it's a real guitar in this part, quite a bit more in the remake.
Yeah, even here moving on the fretboard.
Yeah,
which is also very open.
A little bit of slowdown right there, which we don't have in the original. If we are,
yeah, right. Really, the original stays on time?
Yes, you can actually see it.
True.
Let's go back to the original. Thank you. Okay,
they do it a little bit, but there's more of a retardando in the ringing out of it than within the playing.
Oh wait, they also don't have. Do they? Wait. Okay, no, it's the part up. They don't have the higher part in the remake.
Which higher part do you mean?
There is, in the original, if we listen to that again, we ended in a different key, then it's played higher,
Yeah, right, when you're in the E.
and now we're moving back down. I only just realized that.
True, that middle part's missing.
Dun, 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 dun.
And the remake just goes straight into that.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Yeah. Straight to D flat.
Interesting. Don't know why they
no
did
key
it.
change here.
I don't know why they did it. I like the key change
Works for me. Yeah.
because it's like a cool pulling the whole thing together again, I guess. But yeah, since I only just realized it. And yeah, the one thing that I think is quite weird that they took it away in the remake, because it kind of makes the transition way more harsh, I'd say. So basically, to the opus part, transition to the opus part in the remake sounds like this. I could actually just see it in your face. Because in the original, we have this gong on top of it, which smooths the whole thing out so much, which is such a great transition and such a great decision to put this in. You can see the attack here.
Yeah. It doesn't seem as jarring.
Yes.
Definitely.
And in the remake, I don't know why they took that away.
That's both again.
What happened? Come on, let me do things. Don't worry, I ordered a new keyboard. Hello? Thank you. I mean, it works too.
Yeah, but what throws me off the most is the fact that the guitar in the part before that is super dry.
Yeah.
And then suddenly all this reverb is put on top of it. And I think that's what puts me off, quote unquote, the most. I'm just like, what? And I think the gong thing could definitely have helped.
Yeah.
Like because of this and then you're in the new sound.
Yes, but I do like the reverb way more in the remake. Because if we go to the original, it sounds like a small hall kind of thing. Have you listened to the reverb? It sounds really small, like a little bit of a delay,
True, yeah.
more than like a big open space. It really sounds more like a hallway kind of thing and not like a big and open space, which
I agree.
it kind of is. I mean, it's a hallway simulator, but it's supposed to be an open space, which the remake does way better with its... Let's try this again. Which the remake does way better with its reverb. Come on! Why do I have to work with technology? I
I don't
chose
know.
this.
We should just chisel our podcast in stone.
Yes. This sounds way bigger and more open.
That's true.
Still sounds a bit more like a confined space, a church or something, more than a real open space.
Yeah.
Because it has too much reflection, but that's just too much audio engineering nerding right there, I think. But yeah, this has too much reflections coming back too fast for the way it's supposed to be. I mean, if you think like you're in a big open space or forest kind of area or whatever, forest a bit more, but still you don't have this much stuff coming back
Yeah,
at
of course.
you.
Basically, it just
Like
gets
in your room.
lost somewhat.
Exactly. Which this doesn't have, which kind of is weird as well, but I think it sounds way more open than the original does. All right, I guess that's it from my part.
I mean, how would an open air reverb sound?
I mean,
Does that exist?
it kind of does. It would have less reflections coming back.
Mm-hmm. So it has some kind of like, oh my god, I'm missing the word. Like after sound, like sound that stays in the air, but like because there's no reflection, it's just gone pretty fast. So you have like a pretty short
reverb?
I would have to try that out again myself, because there is a really expensive reverb suit that has so many things, from like different airplanes to also different forests to different open areas that they actually sampled, which I think is like $3,000 or something.
Oh, why do I need the airplane? Whatever.
Film.
Oh yeah,
Film scoring.
makes a lot of sense. Sure.
That's basically just really specialized towards film scoring
Of
and
course.
dialogue stuff when you want to put into certain kind of spaces.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, I would have to research this, how like a real open space would sound.
Yeah, it's like, because I have a clear idea in my head from like just being on festivals, having been to festivals, stuff like that, how like an open air concert sounds.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to imagine how that would sound if I put it like on top of a digital instrument.
I mean, I would kind of think, if you take a look at the area, it's like a bit of a lost city kind of vibe. So it wouldn't be as directional. I think that's what I would say, because to me it seems like it's coming back at the same time from all areas.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I get major church vibes from the reverb they use in the remake.
I think it would be more scattered, would be the best word for me to use. Like less the same from all sides, and more like a little bit here, a little bit there. A bit earlier coming back from here because there's like this little kind of ruin part. A bit later coming back from there because there's another ruin a bit farther away. Not as much coming from extremely left and right. Kind of weird things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't have a better way to phrase this.
Works for me.
All right. So back to some more story dump before we move on to the next theme. So then we meet the Besaid Crusaders again, Dusu and Gada. They are congratulating us on a game that we of course won.
You did.
Yeah.
I usually didn't.
I really wanted that sphere, and I really wanted to just destroy the goers.
I get that.
Because it's such a great setup to just, it feels so good. Anyways, they are then reprimanded for slacking off by Lucille. So basically, Lucille is their commander as well, which totally makes sense. I only just then kind of made the connections that, of course, the Chocobo Riders, Chocobo Knights are part of the Crusaders, and they're probably higher up, and they are higher up than them. I just never made that connection for some reason. But yeah, they're basically reprimanded for slacking off. So then Luzu basically just talks to us again. Even though Yevon rejected us, we still believe in you. That won't ever change. Because as the Crusaders, they are kind of on the bad side of Yevon, which is one thing I really want to know from you, because that doesn't really make too much sense, because we just heard that Warrior Mihan, Lord Mihan, that Lord Mihan basically went and faced his charges against him, kind of refuted them, and won Yevon over as the Crusaders. So therefore the Crusaders becoming the executive organ of Yevon in a way, the protective organ of them. But now they are still basically pushed away for kinda... I got it. Okay. Why they are basically like pushed away by Yevon at this point. We're basically saying that Yevon rejected us, even though Yevon rejected us. Okay, that's because the next thing is coming up.
Yeah. I was just waiting for whether you were going to get there or not.
Never mind. I just understood that. This is so obvious. Yeah, next episode is going to clear that up. Never mind then. But yeah, that just apparently didn't make sense for me. Yep, I actually have a note. Do you get that? Yeah. Then at the end, we hear Yuna trying to convince them to go back to Besaid, that it's not too late to go back and do their job in Besaid as well. But they just leave them. Something we'll get to understand in a bit. Waka shakes his head while Tidus for some reason finds this very funny. There's just a little bit of an animation right after they leave, which I've only just realized rewatching this, which was kind of weird to me. I mean, maybe that's another lost in translation kind of thing, because they run away, and then basically Waka, Tidus, and I think Oren or somebody just running after them and looking at them, and Waka's just there shaking his head, and Tidus starts laughing for some reason, which I didn't understand. Actually, I'll show you in a bit. Which
I can't remember.
It just, I only just found it and just didn't make any sense to me. So yeah. Then we get to meet a little priestess of Yemen who's talking to a crusader, which is completely rejected. She's called Shalinda, and she talks about the crusaders wanting to use forbidden machina, so she wanted to stop them. Lulu then explains that the use of machina is strictly forbidden by Yemen, and Waka basically reinforcing that machina are bad news.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yes, which we heard before. I mean, we got a sword for that, so I call that a win.
True.
I'll call that a win. And Oren just says let them use whatever they want, which is kind of interesting, but because they won't be able to defeat Sin anyways. So apparently they are trying to defeat Sin with Machina somehow. More coming up on that in a bit, in the next episode. And then Shalinda argues that it is not about that, but about the teachings being ignored. Yuna encourages Shalinda to keep going, herself only having recently become a summoner. So basically it's like Shalinda is like an apprentice. So Yuna also kind of understands the feeling of not being, not being respected is completely wrong because she's totally respected, but being new to her profession, kind of disheartened, not really able to show that she knows everything kind of thing. So she gets that. And then coming to the next area, Arn is like, he wants to rest in an Al-Bad job. So he wants to rest a bit, which is an Al-Bad job. Waka is completely against it because we already got to know Waka's love for the Al-Bad.
Yeah.
And because they are against Yemen and they kidnapped Yuna, which is Waka's argument there, which kind of does make sense. And Arn just replied, well, where were her guardians? Which is a really good reply. Everybody's like, well,
Blitzball, come on.
And then Waka is like, I'm not tired one bit. And R's like, well, I am. Let's rest. So, R is old.
He is.
Which apparently he isn't because he's 32? Something like that. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention. Who actually composed Me and High Road? Do you have that in your notes real quick?
Let me take a look.
That would be interesting.
Me and High
I
Road?
don't know.
No, damn it. Didn't write it down for that one. Stopped one song before. Nein, kann mich nicht erinnern. Aber ich kann das nachschauen.
So much for the weird kind of earworms. Down, 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 down. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Astonishing.
The astonishing. Best Dream Theater album there is.
I didn't even know that one.
Yeah, don't. Not worth it.
One of the new ones?
Yeah. I think it was the one after the self-titled one.
Ah, yeah.
I mean, I did listen to it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go on a like nice bike ride in the summer. I'm just gonna take my time and basically do nothing but listen to that. Yeah, after like 15 minutes or something, I just stopped. I've been a huge Dream Theater fan, but this album was just like, I'm bored. It's kind of a really big storytelling vibe, but yeah. Not my thing. Anyways, who composed it?
Uematsu.
Does make sense.
Yeah.
Because another one of these quite strong melodies and quite strong chords again, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
Quite a while.
Yeah, but it's like if I just heard it without knowing anything about it, but still would know who composed the songs, I guess it would be somewhat hard to me to necessarily pinpoint.
It could have been Hamauzu maybe as well, but...
Maybe, but I mean, yeah, I guess like all in all, I agree that especially after the fact that I know it's like, yeah, sounds way more like a Uematsu than anything else. But I don't know if I could tell for sure because it's like not the most typical one for him, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like I just have to pick one out that really showcases Uematsu at what he does, wouldn't be that one.
So, totally. Same with like in the Bosch Temple.
Yeah.
That's also another one that kind of, if you know it, clearly-ish Sounds like Umatsu. Same with this one, but
Yeah.
wouldn't be the first instinct to think it's him.
Yeah.
But then
same.
again, I think it would still make the most sense of the three composers.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You know, I think we learned something today. We learned that diminished chord melodies combined with a juice harp and a bouncy bass make for a whimsical but pleasant travel companion. Until Opeth decided to crash the party and turn the track into a mysterious, haunting acoustic guitar part before going back to business as usual. And that the way a guitar is played, staccato or sustained, can be received quite differently regarding what fits the song. But maybe that was just
Our Hybris talking! In the next episode, we will not listen to Walker's worries about the LBAT, deal with the greatest threat to chocobos, known to this travel agency at least, and then get to ride one ourselves. Which brings us to the gates of Operation Mihan, where we re-encounter and maybe even re-evaluate a spiritual leader. So, thank you so much for watching.
and see you in the next one. Bye!